Hello, we are here 1 week before Easter, at least the Western Easter, and we are talking about Partita number 6, and we thought we'll share a few thoughts about this piece. We just recently have seen with Gabby and other of my students St. Matthew Passion, and we thought how important it is to connect the music of which have words in Bach, like his cantatas or his Passion, with his instrumental music. We know in the Well-Tempered Clavier that under all of them is written for God's glory alone. In Partita it doesn't say that, but the partitas that Bach wrote for himself, not for students to learn on, but for him to perform, that they were one of the most mature pieces of his. And the last partita especially is extremely important. As we said, it's written in the same key as the St. Matthew Passion, which has a meaning. In this time, the keys had meaning. E flat minor was the key of philosophical thoughts. The key of F minor was the key of death, and the key of E minor is the key of crucifixion. So, and it's possible to approach this as a collection of dances, which of course that is, not the toccata, but after that, of course, the allemand, corrente here, saraband, gavotte, and gigue, of course, are dances. Aria is not, there's aria also. But we can also look at it from the point of view of thinking about the St. Matthew Passion and the opening movement being similar to what's happening in this toccata, and then allemand and being more like one of those arias there. And in fact, just a minute ago, we were Gabby listening to the selections of the Passion and trying to find which aria would be similar to the allemand, for instance. And then we thought that the gigue is very much like the scene of crucifixion itself, and the very dynamic writing that Bach wrote for there. Anyway, let's play from the toccata. And toccata is also, when we play this toccata, we also have to think about the 7 toccatas that Bach wrote for organ, and then 7 for the manuals, what means keyboard or keyboard instruments, probably harpsichord, but could be also understood to be played on organ just without the pedals. Anyway, the toccata form itself, again, very much consists of lots of sections which have lots of freedom, improvisatory elements, virtuosic elements almost. Toccare means to touch. Some people interpret the word as a hit. But anyway, it has to do with some physicality of moving fingers as well, which of course is displayed very much in here. But I think it goes above just that. It has here more meaning of important thoughts, important emotions. We know in Baroque era the idea was to is movement and emotions, motions and emotions, we can say. So there is certain movement of expression, but this expression has to be all the time present. And of course the expression vary here, but probably the biggest, most important expression of this toccata is the big sorrow that is happening. So let's try from the beginning, and the beginning is very much in a style of a French overture. So there is certain majestic element, there is certain element again of this drama. Those chords are often very unpredictable. So let's start, let's try it. exaggerate what I was telling you at the beginning of a lesson, which is there's almost a little bit too much freedom. I think whenever there's rhythm, yam, papam, papam, we have to put things together. So there can be, of course, even in those, from time to time, especially in the recapitulation at the end when it comes, you can take more time. But the thing at the very beginning, whenever this tam, da-da-dam, ta-da, we have to make sure that the rhythm stays, and then those can be more improvisatory. But I think those yam, papam, it has to be like the whole orchestra is organizing itself and the conductors conducting them. They cannot play all individual because otherwise we will not, the construction of the thing, it might suffer a little bit, okay? But otherwise it was very good. And we spoke about those little guys, this team. Again, they move in fourth. His very important element is the augmented fourth, which is the interval, the called devilish interval in the Middle Ages, forbidden interval, and then this leads us to the dominant that resolves on E minor again. Right? So that's very, but in those, we have to emphasize tiny bit the bottom notes. But we spoke, this is like those thoughts. They have to be more delicate. They cannot have the same sound as the French overture rhythm. Thanks, right? Okay, let's continue. Next section. And this right away is bringing, we know that the theme of the fugue later is, and this already exists here. Of course, Bach doesn't write like this, but we can find it, so this can be emphasized more. Or even. Both ways. It can be non-legato, can be legato, but we need to remember that this element is the same as, right? That's just here we have rests, here we don't, but the idea is the same. Please. The pain, but keep it. We also said that very important element about this, because the previous section is a little bit moving back and forth rhythmically. This one has to be like a Swiss clock. It's almost like waiting. There are many elements, many times in Passion when the time is very important. There is a time when Jesus is waiting to be crucified, that all those trials happening. He's waiting what the crowd is going to say. The disciples are asking 11 times during the Passion, did I do this? Did I betray you? Jesus says, one of you is going to betray me. And 11 disciples asking, is it me, Lord? And then, of course, 11 because the 12 did it. So 11th ask. So the numbers are very important. That the timing is very important. So very stable needs to be this element here. Please, let's try again. Left hand more, right hand keep the doses. The right hand melody is beautiful, but we need to have very clear idea that the left hand here was almost like three voices. We have one voice here, just what is written. Another voice is this, what I was showing you. And then we have all of this here. We have four voices. This is and then we have right? Let's try it together. But the right hand should be much more intimate. When we have 8 notes and 16 notes, the 8 notes will win in terms of voicing. I mean, not always, but In this case, they should win here over the right hand. The right hand very soft. So now another element pedal. Of course, in Bach we have to use pedal when we play on the piano. We need to use pedal. How we use pedal, that's very important. That is not too much, but especially in this piece, if we don't have pedal, there's no way that we can imitate crying. There's no way that we can create the drama. So pedal is important, but of course pedal that will work for Bach. So it cannot be too much. Cannot be romantic. Please. Soft right hand. Trying to bring up that element. Right. Before this was moving in fourth, right? By the way, the fourth in Bach oftentimes is much more dissonancing interval than the fifth. The fifth often is like already, we know when fifth comes that it's going to resolve on tonic. When fourth comes, it's like a departure outside the house. The fifth is moving to home. The fourth is departing from it, so it's creating more tension. Here we have, in this situation, we have the chromatics, right? Which represents, again, pain. And Bach, chromatic scales are the symbols of pain. So we need to understand this. You have to hear the tension. The crescendo, what you did was good. I think more pain we can still feel, right? Almost romantic, like too much of tempo changing. Same idea that we just had a minute ago, although the intervals are much bigger, right? This was almost like there's this is the same, but here those intervals is more almost like crying up to the heaven. And so interesting in those big intervals, and we normally play non-legato, Bach writes slurs, so this is so significant, this like, I don't know, stretching itself, to accomplish a big goal, big sacrifice, Almost reminds me of the people in Ukraine, and the cry out to the world, and the heroism of that action here, to have those big intervals anyway. That's how they resonate in me here. And of course we have this big dramatic thing after that, please. Right, and again, so now we're about to play the Fugue, which has amazing theme. The very beginning is made already, the theme is here, right? Right, this element, those falling seconds in Bach or in Baroque time are rhetorical figures of sorrow, of tears, of crying. So we have it right away from the beginning. We had it in the transitional section, and now the whole theme is made out of this. Yeah, so let's try. And of course we are adding a little bit pedal to emphasize as well, especially later when it counts, please. Okay, at the same time, the theme has direction of upward going, right? So like the cry doesn't stay in one place. This is not a cry in a small room where somebody is alone, but is maybe is alone, but there's certain intensity that is growing throughout the theme, going upward. It's like the those thoughts, those prayers, this tears need to reach the heavens. No, let's try it. Fugue is distinguishing between the thematic elements, which are almost like it's are the most important, of course. So it's almost like a, I don't know, prophetic voice or anyway, voice that can be heard, voice that is being proclaimed, a sentence that is being proclaimed by different voices. If we imagine choir singing, there'll be different voices singing the same theme, and of course this makes a tremendous impact on us. And then in the meantime we have those transitions, which are almost like intimate thoughts that one cannot hear, that are inside. There's this extrovertive element, which is the theme, and this introvertive element, which is the transition. And the transition, of course, leading again to the next theme. The transition creates the bridge between those themes. But we need to rest emotionally from those themes, because if we have only themes for the whole time, who knows, maybe we'll stop listening to them. Eventually we have enough of the same theme. But Bach is doing very clever thing that after the theme is being spoken 3 times, he right away 2 times, not 3 times, right?
Well, 2 times.
3 times, yeah.
This is also kind of.
So then after that, no, but the theme itself, this is here. This is just a transition, yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah, this one after 3 times.
Right. So 2 times we have at the beginning, and then there's a transition right away. And in this the transition has to have a different character. It has to be much more introverted, like, I don't know, thoughts that you can imagine what somebody is thinking, but these are not being spoken. They're more internal than external. Okay, can we because this is similar. Let's go just right away here. We changed, in order to show 2 voices in left hand, not just one, we created articulation, which was legato and non-legato, and legato and non-legato. And there should be differentiated not just with articulation, but also with dynamics. And then right hand, those big intervals, they shouldn't be connected again in Bach, as we always don't. And that regulation may be non-legato, I mean, ordinary touch, which is not really legato, not, but and again very intimate. And the theme in bar 4 trills, but I mean, only the last note has a trill. I would add this trill because when you add those trills throughout the whole fugue as much as possible, I think there's one place when you don't add fugue.
Yeah.
Trills. But if you add wherever is really possible, we can hear the theme much more. We can recognize the theme. It's so much easier. And by adding a little bit pedal again, it helps. Okay, this is basically similar situation. Can we play maybe from here? We have this middle voice, which is very interesting, and then almost like it sounds like questions. Me, is it me, Lord? Like questions from again the Passion. Okay, maybe we can, and now we are coming here in the from bar 51 up to basically 60 something, 70 something. We have it's a very strange situation because suddenly those themes are starting to be in a major key. It's almost like the pain. It's like it's above the pain. The tragedy is almost like the physical pain does not matter anymore. Is the uplifting of the spirit that it's going to happen. The price of the Jesus sacrifice for humans is more important than the physical pain. Oftentimes in Passion we have this gratefulness, the sweet Kreuz, Süße Kreuz, which is the sweet cross idea, and so on. So it's a pain, it's smile, not smile, but certain comfort through pain. Okay, can we please play? I don't know what would be a good place, maybe, but this is also important moment. It's like a almost like a cry of a choir, please. very big statement, because as you know, I mean, Bach used first finger, but other people would play scale with 3/4, 2/4. So playing so many octave scale is actually not easy thing to do. So this was a very big statement here of some big dramatic gesture, that kind of thing, right? Here we have again the F echo in a major key again, which is amazing. And from here it starts to be like the whole crucifixion theme. It's already at the end of the scenes, and with all of those intensity of mocking, of sharing clothes, of all this indignity of um, of humans towards humans. Can we play from here, please? Later, you have to hold. Those long notes are also part of the pain. Is that there's a theme, at the same time there are many people involved here. There's just not one voice. There are many voices. And now here, it's like a big cry, to the different world. And this leads us again to the beginning, which at the beginning sounds similar, but after this is very, very different. Especially it's different when we start very soft, this at the second page. So even softer, very mysterious. It's like at the time of the crucifixion there was darkness. Yeah, suddenly there was darkness. There was no sun. So we need to hear this darkness here. And again, the interval of fourth, after this again leading to there's again C, F sharp, and then B sharp, and E minor again. So right now, again, I liked that you have more freedom. We talked about Gabi more freedom. It's a little too much, but that's okay. Let's continue. And this is such a tragic chord. Not, of course, as like as I'm holding Gabi's hand to talk, but this is such a tragic chord. It needs time. Maybe that's tiny bit too long for the last note, because there's no fermata. But it's important that you hear and understand, which you did right now, the major character, that everything now it's done. Everything is done, and whatever is done, there's peace. As I was telling Gabby, I saw news a few days ago. I was very moved. There was this older lady, babushka, they call them in Russia, I think in Ukraine too, who was talking about, I don't know, it was her son or her grandson, but she was showing a picture. She was saying he has fought for Ukraine and he has died, and they couldn't bury him for 1 month because of the oppression. They couldn't come out, it was unsafe to come out, and then they finally were able to bury him, and she said, now he is in peace, but her country and she is not. So here, this is in peace, but the peace continues. There's still a lot to accomplish through this peace, and then the fugue, of course, is the most tragic and painful. But again, it will finish in E major, as it should, right? This is again very meaningful for Bach, that at the end there's resurrection. So even minor keys and as complex as the fugue is, which is amazing with all those dissonances, that will finish in major key. Thank you very much, everyone. Hopefully this has helped somebody when maybe, well, or inspire a little bit imagination when you play or perform this partita.